Hello, my bookish friends. Hey, beautiful people. I am Sierra, and in this video, we are going to do Would You Rather This or That, the bookish edition. And if you're interested in that, you want to keep watching. I'm going to just jump right into it. So I have 15 questions here that I am going to share with you the answers to them. I'm gonna do would you rather this or that, and I will put the questions in the description below this video if you want to go and answer these questions yourself, or if you want to tag and do the questions as well. Let's just jump into it. So this or that bookish edition. So question number 1 is, would you rather read on the bed or read on the couch? I want to read on the couch. I would rather read on the couch. The bed is for sleeping. Yes, I can read. The thing about these questions that I realize is that I do most of both of these things, but if you told me I had to pick one, then I'm going to answer that. There's one question that I couldn't pick, and you're going to stay tuned to figure out what that one was. But I would rather read on the couch, cuddled up with a blanket, something to drink, a couple of snacks. I would rather be on the couch, okay? So that's question number 1. Question number 2, coffee shop. Would you rather be at a coffee shop or at home? I'm gonna be at home. I'm gonna be at home. I love being at home. So you will find me on my couch at home, okay? Question number 3, would you like music in the background or silence? Because I think of noise as music, and what I mean by noise for me, my children chattering in the background. So I'm gonna choose music in the background, first of all. That is gonna be my choice. But noise in the background is how I kind of process this question, because I was like, I don't mind noise in my background. I don't mind the cityscape in the background, like the noise of the city, like cars passing by. I don't mind my children chattering in the background. I don't mind classical or like coffee shop music in the background. I don't mind music in the background, like listening to some songs in the background. Right now, I've been listening to a lot of Cleo Soul. Been listening to her. I've been listening to like this playlist on my cell phone, on Spotify called, I created a playlist. I'll put it in this description as well. I'll put my playlist in the description. I absolutely love music, so I am definitely a music in the background girl. Question number 4, indoors or outdoors? Indoors. I am back home in Florida. It is hot. I'm gonna be inside. Now, will I read outdoors? Absolutely. Sometimes, but right now it's 90+ degrees in Florida every single day. And we're supposed to be getting a lot of rain here lately. So I wanna be inside. Find me inside in the AC. Question number 5, thrillers or romance? Every single time, romance. I love romance. Currently, I brought this book because I knew I was going to talk about it. Me and my husband are reading Abby Jimenez's book, Part of Your World, and we're reading it together, and it's the sweetest thing. And that is how he's romancing me at this moment, reading a book with me. Like, I'll read a chapter, he'll read a chapter, and I can't not read the book by myself anymore because we decided we was going to do it together. But we're reading this, and I love to read romance because I noticed that I get ideas. Like me and my husband, we do romance well, but why not take it over the top and do more romance and more romance? You know what I mean? So I love romance books, and that's not the only types of books I like, but if you told me to pick out of a romance and a thriller, I will always pick a romance. And if you put a little thrill inside the romance, I will read it, but it needs to be mostly romance for me, okay? So that is question number 5. Question number 6 is lamp on or candles? I already told you it's gonna be at home, reading on the couch. So you're gonna get candles. Candles, I love candles. When I had an Instagram, I always would share my reading bookshelf where I had like a candle and flowers on top of it. So for me, it would be candles. I like taper candles, like the tall candles that are colorful. I like candles that smell like Tabasco, whiskey, vanilla, musk. I love candles, so you will find me with a candle. All right. Question number 7 is dressed up or PJs? PJs, pajamas, something comfortable, something I can relax in, something I can pull my legs in Indian style in, something that it don't always have to be like pajamas, but it's gonna be something comfortable, whether it is a dress, whether it is a pajama dress, whether it's like this type of dress, whether it is pajama pants, comfortable. So you can always find me at comfortable, okay? This or that, question number 8, borrow from the library or buy books at the bookstores. I'm gonna be the library girl, okay? I know on the BookTube channels, there are more girls who like, and more girls and guys who like to purchase at bookstores. I love to support bookstores. However, I love to go to the library. It is a childhood memory. It is nostalgic to me. There's so many books that are available at the library. You can pick up at my library in Florida. We can check out with our library card 100 books at a time. What? I'm not gonna buy 100 books at a time, but I can check out 100 books at a time. And my last book haul, I got, I think like 9 books, and I have 1 book on hold. So I have 10 books that I was able to get from the library. In the month of July, I may not read all 10 books, but guess what? I can recheck them out. And if I do not like those books, guess what? I can take them back to the library. Someone else can borrow them and they can enjoy it if that's what they like. But if I don't like it, I can take it back, and no money was lost. No love was lost. I just didn't like it. But if I love the books, then I will, which I do all the time. If I love a book that I read from the library, I go purchase it at the bookstore. So question number 9, complex characters or relatable characters. So when I looked up this one and I found this question, I am a words girl. So when it came to complex, I realized like complex sounds can be harsh, but it really isn't. Complex means it's layered. Complex means, for me, it's colorful. Complex means this person is more than 3-dimensional. They're probably 4-dimensional. They have so many dimensions to them. So I prefer over somebody who's relatable, someone in a book that's complex. There's many layers to this person. They're very colorful with their emotions. They're very colorful with their way they approach things. They're not just one layer and flat. And relatable to me is great because but for me, relatable is somebody who is colorful, is someone who is complex. And so that I can relate to those people because I am also colorful, complex, whichever way you would like to say that word. So it's gonna be complex characters for me. I know y'all didn't ask for all of these explanations, but I'm gonna give them to you because I am a very more than one dimension person, okay? So question number 10, read only series or read only standalones. I was kind of battling with this one. I was battling with this one because I was like, man, I battled for a little bit and I realized that I don't like series. Even on television, if you know me in real life, my friends will tell you, Sierra's not gonna watch a whole series. I just don't enjoy it. I do not like when something has like a hold on me, like I gotta be home by 8 because my show is coming on. I don't enjoy that for whatever the reasons are. I just don't. So I would prefer to read standalones because if it's a standalone, I can always read it more than one time. I can read it again and again. So for me, it's gonna be standalone. If I only had to read standalones, I would be a happy girl because again, I can read it over and over, and 2, I can read it in another season, and I'm probably gonna see something from a different perspective than what I saw when I first read it. So give me the standalone books, okay? And I can imagine what the next part of the series would be. I can make up another story in my head about, oh man, this would have made a great series if they would talk about this character. Give me standalones. Give me standalones because I am more likely to finish it and be like, I'm done, versus you got another one, I'm probably not gonna finish the series. 9 times out of 10, I'm not gonna read the series. Right now I am reading Brianna Michelle's series. I've read her novella, I've read her book, and she has another book that's in the series, but I'm kind of lagging. So I have it, but I haven't read it. I'm lagging to read it, and it's probably because I am not a series. Like, I'm not a true series girly. I like standalones. So there's that. All right, next question, number 11. Paperback or hardcover? Give me a paperback, and let me show you why. I enjoy both, but if you told me I had to pick and I was on the island and it had to be one or the other, I'm definitely gonna go with paperback. Because paperback, like this book, we're more than halfway through. And for this, I can bend it. I can do this. Like, it's my book. This is a book I purchased, y'all. So if you're cringing, this is mine. I can bend it. I can also bend it so much to where the book will lay flat for me to read. And there's no rusty, crusty, no offense to anybody, this is just what I think. There's no rusty, crusty cover on here that I gotta fiddle with, or that I have to take off and throw away or sit somewhere else. I prefer this. I like, and I like the feel of some paperbacks. There's some paperbacks that have this like soft feeling to them, and I'm a texture girl, and so I like different textures. This one actually feels pretty smooth. I just like paperback or softback books. I just enjoy them more. So there is that. Question number 12, read by the fireplace or read by a beach. So because this is my game and my channel, I'm going to choose both of those. I'm going to choose both because I have done both and I enjoy an experience in all of my senses, all 5 of them. And so I would say 6, but all 5 of them. And so I want to read by the fireplace and I want to read by a beach. I want to come from the beach, go home, take a good shower, and it's freezing cold. And if there's a fireplace, I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to sit right there. I'm going to read my book. Or I'm going to go to the cabins in Tennessee and I'm going to sit by the fireplace and read a book. And in the summertime, I think this is a seasonal one. It was very hard for me to pick. However, I did it. I said I want both, okay? It's okay. You can have both in life. You can have this and that, okay? So question number 13, enemies to lovers or friends to lovers. I was kind of having trouble with this too. I think because of complexity, because of depth, that I would enjoy, and I have enjoyed, enemies to lovers more. Friends to lovers is cute, but enemies to lovers, it makes for a good story. It makes for a good story because sometimes you don't know, unless you research the book some, you don't know that the characters are going to be together. One book that I read like that at the top of the year was Frenemy Fix Up. I love the title, Frenemy. It's like friends to lovers. It was a good book. It was some spice in there. I was in the mood for it. It was a great book. I stayed up and I read it all night. So Frenemies Fix Up was a really great book. And it was an enemies to lovers. So I enjoyed that one. Question number 14, one point of view or multiple point of views? Multiple points of views. I really enjoy it. Like I said, I'm reading this with my husband and we are both enjoying this. There's a woman perspective and a male perspective and I enjoy it. I read Brianna Michelle's book was my first introduction. Brianna Michelle's book, was my first introduction to multiple point of views and I deeply enjoyed it. And because I get to be nosy and I get to know what you're thinking and what he's thinking, I want it. And because I get to choose, I would choose multiple perspectives. This book is a multiple perspectives as well, and I'm deeply enjoying it too. So multiple perspectives. That is a tongue twister. All right, the last question before I show y'all my book haul is live inside of a book or to bring your favorite character out of a book. Originally on my paper, I have circled bring your favorite character out of a book, but I think I was thinking of myself and me experiencing this person. I think I would go inside of a book now. I'm going to change my answer on this one. This is the first question that is not the same as what I originally thought. I would like to live inside of a book. I would live, because it's fictional. It's not real. It's not real. And it reminds me of Fat Albert, and he got to come out of the TV. I think I want to go in. I would like to live inside of the book and be one of the characters inside the book because it will change the story. It will give me perspective from the characters' point of views. Because I've read the book, I know what chapter I would go into. I would get to, like, in the part of your world, I would get to meet the baby goat. I would get to meet the dog. I would get to meet Daniel. And I would get to meet Alexis. I would go to her hospital. Like, I get to see what their world looks like. And I think when I first originally answered this question, I was saying I would bring my favorite character into my world. I was being about myself, and I think this is still a choice about myself, don't get me wrong, but I think for me it's like bringing them into my world would probably be very culture shocking, because if I was to bring Daniel from part of your world, and if you've read the book you know what I'm saying, if I would bring Daniel, a small town guy, into my world with two children, with a husband, being a stay-at-home mom, he may enjoy that, but I think I would get more out of the experience if I was to go into his world and get to work on a farm, to get to know his small town people, like the small town, get to know his people, get to know Alexis and go to the hospital, like get to experience their world. So I would go into a book, because not only can I go into that book, but I also would go into Brianna Michelle's book, Finding My Way Out of Darkness. I would go into the class that they gave, what's her name? They gave a class to one of the female main characters. I would go to that self-defense class with her, teach me some stuff. Like, I would go into one of the books that I've read. Absolutely, hands down. That's my answer. Okay, so that was Would You Rather This or That. That was so much fun. If you have any questions that you're like, hey Sierra, what about this? Would you, and it needs to be a bookish question, please. So put that down in the comment section, excuse me, and I will add 5 more questions. If y'all send me 5, then I will do 5 extras. I will find 5 new questions, and I will do this again. This was so much fun. And I'm so surprised. One of them, I chose both, and one of them, I changed my answer. So this was so much fun. This was so much fun. So now let's get into my book haul. So these are all books that I picked up from the library. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. There are 5 of them, and I'm going to share them here with you. So this first book is a book that I really had some apprehension about at first, because this character, or this biblical retelling, she's a character from the Bible, and she was very villainized as I went to church growing up, and as an adult. This person was villainized. Like, she's a female, so you probably know who I'm talking about if you're a church girl. And I just want to read her story. As I've stated, I like complexity. I like colorful characters. And she was a very colorful character that everybody still talks about. And now they have a book. Her name is Jezebel. Jezebel was very villainized. She was like the bad person in the Bible that always gets talked about. And I think she did what she came to do, because let me tell you what this book is about. So Jezebel was born into the world howling. She intends to leave it the same way. When Jezebel learns she can't be a king like her father simply because she's a girl, she vows never to become someone's decorative wife, nameless and lost to history. Married off at 15 to Prince Ahab of Israel, she does what she must to gain power and remake the distant kingdom in the image of her beloved, prosperous homeland of Tyre. Beginning by building temples to the gods she grew up worshiping. She ushers Israel into a new era of prosperity. Her subjects love her, and her name and those of the gods ring throughout the land, until Elijah, the prophet of Yahweh, and her former lover begins to speak out against her, calling her a slut, harlot, witch. Her people turn on her. As bloodshed descends on Israel and ancient powers and faiths are pitted against her, Jezebel must decide how far she's willing to go to protect her family and her throne and her name. A striking revision of a notorious queen's story, Jezebel is a thrilling lyrical debut about a fierce woman who refuses to be forgotten. Jezebel. This story is written by Megan Bernard. I am super excited this month to get into this book because, like I said, the perspective that I have from her, of her, is a very she's not to be touched. Do not be a Jezebel. Blah, 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 blah. So now I get to be in a fictional world. And like I said, in the questions, I would like to go inside of a book. So I feel like being able to read this is going to do me some good. All right. The second book that I have here is called Lives of Artists by Calvin Tompkins. I picked this book up specifically because it's about lives of artists. In my last video and in some other videos, I told you all that I am an artist. And I want to read about the lives of artists so I can do more and show up more as an artist. And I'm always studying the craft. And so what better way than to study or read books about the lives of artists? This next book was a suggestion because of the book that I just told you about. And this book is called Maybe an Artist. I really was captivated by this because this story is by Liz Montague, and it is a memoir in the form of a graphic novel. So she tells her story through pictures in a graphic novel, and I thought that was really, really dope. And this is a Black author. And so I really wanted to pick this up because as an artist, being inspired by another Black artist gives me hope, and it gives me perspective from a lens that I can relate to. So here we go. The next book is called Sweetness in the Skin. I do not know how to pronounce the first name, but the last name is Robinson. I picked this one up because it talks about like sweet food. And when I say sweet food, it talks about like desserts. And for me, I was like, oh my goodness. So basically, I'm gonna read you the last little part of the sleeve. It says, Sweetness in the Skin is a funny and heartbreaking story about a girl figuring out who she is and what she's capable of and where she truly belongs. It is based in Kingston, Jamaica, with 3 women, her mother, Paulette, and her aunt. And they're living in a tiny 2-room house. And so I'm super excited to read this one. The cover pulled me in. It was a book that was being displayed, so the cover pulled me in. It was very colorful, but I'm also wanting to read this too because not only is this another Black author, but I like to, if I could go into a book, then I want to go to Kingston, Jamaica. So I'm going to get to go to Kingston, Jamaica through this book. The very last book I want to share, I'm super excited to share because if you watched, and I keep referring to my last video because it was about the library, and this is a library book haul. This was the book that I asked the library to purchase. And that is one of the gems from that video, is that you can ask your local library to purchase a book that they do not have, and they will let you know if they can, and they will even communicate with you to let you know like, hey, the book is on order. Thank you for your suggestion. We're gonna get this book here. And for me, that book was Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop. So listen, it is a spicy book, I know. And let me just tell you a little bit of background about this story. So this story is about a girl, and she is the sister of the bride, and the bride is marrying her ex-boyfriend. When I went and got my hair braided, me and the girl talked about it because I took this book into the hair salon with me, and we talked about it. And she was like, oh my goodness, me and grandma and the family, we gonna all be, nobody gonna be attending the wedding because who finna marry my ex? And she had lots of questions about like, this was the conversation that me and the stylist was having. She was like, man, like, how are y'all gonna go to her wedding? You knew, like, he used to come to family dinners. Like, basically, if y'all support this, y'all don't support me. And so we talked about it. I didn't get to read it while I was getting my hair done because we were watching a show or whatever. But I started it, and after the hair salon, I actually went and sat outside at the park, and at like a shopping mall at their little park, and I was enjoying it. It is off the hinges. Even in the first 2 to 3 pages, you find out what's happening. You're just thrown into the story. Now, this is a book that I want to go to Tulum. So again, from the would you rather questions, would you rather live inside of a book, or would you rather to bring a character out of the book? I think I would like to bring a character out of this book, because I would like to bring her out of this book and ask her some questions, interview her, and maybe that'll change once I finish this complete story. But I want to interview them. I would like to bring them on the show. One sits here and one sits here, and we have a talk. Like, who? Like, what went through your mind, girl? Like, what was going on? But let me finish this book, and I will end up doing a book review on it to let y'all know. But this book was the book that I was able to get the library to purchase, and so far it is good. Yeah, so that is all of the books. So I'm going to go over these books in case you want to go to your local library, because they may have this book at the library. You want to go to your local library to pick up some of these books to read and bring home for yourself. So the first book is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. The next one is Jezebel by Megan Bernard. Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop. Sweetness in the Skin by Ishi Robinson. I may pronounce her name wrong. Then you have Maybe an Artist by Liz Montague. And then the last one is Lives of Artists by Kevin Tompkins. So if those are some books that you're interested in, I will put them in the description of this video, and you can go and check out those books yourself and go look at your local library. They may have all of them, they may have none. But what is it to try? What is it to try? I thank you all for watching this video. Again, put it in the comments what questions you want me to answer on my next Would You Rather Bookish edition. And if you give me 5 questions, I will add 5 more questions, and I will do about 10 questions in the next video, and I would like to know. And if you make it kind of hard for me to pick, as I did in this one where I couldn't pick between Read by the Fireplace or By a Beach, don't make it that hard for me, because clearly I want both of them. But thank you so much for watching this video. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you would like to see more, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.